Yo, what's going on YouTube? It is your boy Ears. Hope you guys are having a great rest of your day, start to your day, whatever time it may be. And I'm going to be going over an Xbox One Elite full settings guide for Apex Legends. I know a lot of you guys have been requesting that I make a Xbox One Elite guide video and kind of go over exactly how I configure my controller, my settings, and how I think you guys should go ahead and use this if you play Xbox One with an Elite controller and you guys are deciding to pick up Apex Legends and give it a try. So let me know down in the comment section below if you guys even play on Xbox, and let me know if you guys like the Elite controller. In my opinion, the Elite controller is the best controller to use if you guys play on Xbox. If you guys are considering picking up an Elite controller, I have both the links for the white Elite controller, which I have in for today's video, and I also have a link for the standard black controller. I have my own Microsoft affiliate code, so if you guys decide to use that code, it's gonna help me out, and I'll greatly appreciate and love you forever. But back on track, man. For Apex Legends, I'm gonna quickly go over my button layout, and then I'm gonna transition on exactly what buttons I have configured from my Elite controller, and then I'm gonna go inside of the Xbox One app and show you guys exactly the sensitivities that I have for my thumbsticks, my triggers, and all that good stuff. So for the button layout, if you guys play on console, I strongly, and I mean strongly, recommend you guys switching to the button puncher layout. Now what this does, it allows you to kind of switch your crouch button, and it's going to put it as kind of like the right thumbstick. This is how I like to play Apex Legends. Now if you guys play Call of Duty and you play the tactical button layout, this is exactly what that is. This is the tactical layout, and I think a lot of you guys will enjoy that. Sometimes, you know, I get a lot of questions in my videos and on live streams on how I'm able to duck and get around, you know, cover very quickly in this game. This is exactly how I do it, running this button puncher layout, and a lot of people just don't understand that, you know, tactical layout from Call of Duty is actually implemented within Apex Legends. Now I'm going to go over and show you guys everything else quickly, and then kind of, you know, get into the meat and potatoes of this video. So my stick layout is default. I have tap to use to reload. Crouch is going to be on toggle. Aim button is going to be on hold. My sensitivity is a 3, and I'm running a 2 sensitivity for my ADS. I like to run my sensitivities low. That's kind of like my thing, kind of what I preach and stand by on my channel. I personally believe that running a low sensitivity is the best possible sensitivity to use when playing Apex Legends, and I'm going to kind of explain that as to why I believe that when I go over and kind of talk about the exact setup on my Elite controller. My response curve, now this is something that you guys need to keep in mind. I like to keep it as classic. Now the reason why classic, in my opinion, is the best is because I actually messed with my FOV. Now also I have my look dead zone as small, my movement dead zone as small, my inverted look as off, my vibration is turned off. Now you're going to be seeing here for my video, my field of view is on 110. I'm going to be making a separate video kind of explaining why I run a 110 FOV, but it's absolutely amazing when you guys couple it with an Xbox Elite controller. Colorblind mode's off, and those are going to be all of like the standard setups that I use for this game with my Elite controller. Now I'm going to kind of go ahead and show you guys exactly what I'm running with on the controller. You guys can see here on my left thumbstick, I have the standard Xbox One thumbstick. This is the one that comes standard with the Elite controller. You guys can see here, it is the short thumbstick. This is the one I like to run on my left thumbstick. Now, this is where things kind of change dramatically. Now, I actually have on the domed thumbstick on the right, like I should say, trigger, not really the right thumbstick. This is what I like to run. I love having the domed thumbstick because when you guys are turning around corners and stuff like that and maneuvering in the game, your thumb never actually leaves the thumbstick. You guys can see here, the best of my ability on cam, it never leaves. It can stay planted on your thumbstick. Now you guys might be thinking this is not really a big deal, but if you guys were to go over and kind of swap out these thumbsticks to the, you know, maybe the lower one, the standard thumbstick I like to call it, or maybe even the raised thumbstick, the default one that comes with the controller as well. my thumb moves around. You guys can see here, it's not planted, it moves around. This is gonna drastically reduce your accuracy, in my personal opinion, if you guys are running this controller with the standard thumbstick or even the raised thumbstick on the right thumbstick. Now, like I said, I like to run the domed one, and this kind of goes and replaces the need of a control freak. Now, contrary to popular belief, I personally do not believe you need control freaks at all if you pick up an Xbox Elite controller. There really is no point. Now, keep in mind, I have tried control freaks with the Elite controller, and in my personal opinion, it just doesn't feel right, and I feel that it's a waste of money, especially if you buy the Elite controller first and then go ahead and pick up a set of control freaks. Now, if you already have a set of control freaks and you decide to pick up an Xbox Elite controller, maybe because you're saving up or you're watching this video and decide, what the hell, I'm going to go ahead and pick it up. Once you guys attach the control freaks to this controller, you're going to immediately kind of understand what I'm saying and why I'm standing by that control freaks are not necessary when running this. And honestly, I think it just kind of messes up the entire feel of the controller, and that's something you do not want to do. Now, if we get around to the back of the controller, you guys can see here that I have on 2 paddles with this game. Now, on Call of Duty, I run 1 paddle, and that's going to be the top short paddle on the left side, and that's going to be the jump button. I kind of keep that standard when playing, for all of my games, especially for Apex Legends, because it really isn't that big of a deal. You guys can see here, right here is going to be my jump button, and actually on the bottom left, or the bottom, I should say, right of my controller is going to be the swap weapons button. I actually like to put the swap weapons button here because it's just a button that I press a lot within this game. And honestly, with swap between your weapons, to go to fist to run faster, or maybe you're in a gunfight where you need to pull out a rifle and then quickly switch to a shotgun to get that easy kill, having it as the swap weapons button as the short paddle is the best in my opinion. Now, I run 2 short paddles. I do not like to run the long paddles, when using the Elite controller for my own hand configuration. If you have smaller hands, you might like to run the bigger ones. Because I have big hands, I like the small paddle. I'm not accidentally pressing anything, and that's kind of why I like to run that when I use my Elite controller. And I only run 2 paddles on this game. Sometimes I actually take off this second paddle if I'm not really feeling I need it that day, or I just want to have it off. But you guys can go ahead and attach that, and like to swap or assign this to the swap weapon button, which is obviously going to be Y on the Elite controller. What you're also going to be seeing when using this controller is I actually have my trigger stops enabled. These are these buttons on the side here. You can kind of move these up and down. This is going to kind of reduce how long you have to, or how hard you have to press your your buttons or your triggers to shoot in ADS. I like to have these enabled for this game. You can shoot the semi-automatic weapons very, very quickly if you guys use a hemlock and put it on semi-automatic mode as opposed to burst mode. If you have the trigger stops and you have a decent trigger finger, I can fire that weapon a lot faster and actually empty the mag quicker than it actually having the burst mode, which is why I like to have the trigger stops enabled, and I have this enabled universal for every single game. The Xbox One controller is already calibrated, so it's not going to actually mess you up when you're actually using the trigger stops, and it's not going to prevent you from doing anything that you were trying to do in game. So if you guys are in fear that, oh, maybe I won't be able to shoot, maybe I won't be able to interact with anything playing other games, because it's an Xbox Elite controller, if you're playing on Xbox, it's not going to mess with anything, so you can kind of keep this enabled, and you're going to be in a better situation in my opinion. Now, what you guys are going to see in the front of my controller going right back, I have on kind of like the, I call it like the fight pad D-pad instead of the standard D-pad. You guys can use the standard D-pad if you guys want to. It really doesn't matter, on all honesty. Now, it's perfectly fine using this one as opposed to the regular one. Like I said, I don't have an issue using it, and I don't think you guys will have one either. I think it's perfectly fine. Now, what you guys are also going to be noticing is that if you guys are fans of the channel, been watching for a while, I actually use my Xbox Elite controller on PlayStation as well, using the Cronus Max device. Now, I actually am going to link that in the video as well in the description. You can actually pick up the device. It allows you to use your Xbox One Elite controller on PlayStation, and that's actually what I use to play Apex Legends on PS4 as well. I actually have more time on PS4 on this game because I have a couple more friends that I play with on PS4, but when this game becomes cross-platform in the near future, obviously I'm going to stay on Xbox because there's really no reason for me to swap consoles. But if you guys are wondering, that question, what if I play on PS4, you can actually use this controller on PS4, reap the benefits using, the Cronus Max device. So I'm going to quickly transition to kind of the Xbox accessories app and show you guys how I have my controller sensitivity set for the Xbox Elite controller. If you guys are already enjoying the video, man, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like on the video. It would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, let me get right into that part of the video. And as you guys can see here, I have the same exact mapping layout on the Elite controller. It's pretty much going to be the default button layout. We transition over to the left stick. It's going to be sensitivity curve set to default. I have this on default because with running a 110 FOV, it allows me to be the most accurate possible, and I think that's going to be what's going to be best for you guys as well. And on the right stick, I have the same thing as the sensitivity curve set as default. Using the domed thumbstick, it's going to be really helpful, and like I said, make it so you're the most accurate possible when playing Apex Legends. And for the trigger, it's going to be pretty much set to default. I don't really mess with any of these settings for Apex Legends. I don't really see an issue with messing with them, and honestly, I don't see an issue with keeping them the same. But if you guys want to go ahead and kind of adjust it to your own will, you guys can. For the trigger, I recommend you guys keeping these the same because the Xbox One Elite is already calibrated. So if you guys do have the trigger stops enabled, they're not actually going to affect any other games that you play with trigger stops being enabled. Because I know in the past, if you guys had trigger stops enabled on an aftermarket controller, if you were to play a racing game or any other game where it required you to kind of have a hair sensitive, I should say, trigger, sometimes it would not function properly, and that can obviously, hinder your gameplay. And for vibration, I don't even have vibration on, so this is all going to be kind of standard. And for the brightness, it doesn't really matter with this one. You can keep it all the way on, keep it all the way down. My Elite controller stays plugged in 24/7 because who likes to use batteries out here? And yeah, that's pretty much going to be my full-on Xbox Elite controller settings video. Hopefully this video does help you guys out. Remember, if you guys want to pick up your very own Elite controller, make sure you guys go ahead and pick it up using the links in the description if you guys want to help me out. Hope you guys do enjoy the video. It's been your boy Ears, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.